Vikings fan, imagine this. What if one of the most feared pass rushers in the NFL could wear purple and gold in 2025? We are talking about Trey Hendrickson, star of the Cincinnati Bengals, who might be getting closer to leaving his current team. This is not just baseless rumor. It is a serious behind-the-scenes dispute involving millions in guaranteed contract money. And when that happens, it opens a rare window for teams needing to strengthen their defense immediately. In Minnesota, the name Dallas Turner still carries high expectations, but his inconsistency during his rookie year has increased doubts. This is exactly where Hendrickson emerges as an immediate solution, bringing proven experience and consistent production. Now, what is truly at stake in this negotiation, and how could it redefine the Vikings' defensive rotation? Stay until the end of the video because I will show you the inside details of this situation and explain why it could change the course of the upcoming season. At 30 years old, 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighing 265 pounds, Hendrickson has recorded 4 consecutive seasons with more than 10 sacks, including 17.5 in the last year alone. On the field, his presence is synonymous with immediate impact in the opposing quarterback's pocket. Off the field, he represents a financial challenge for a franchise that has already invested heavily in Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. The Bengals are known for their strict approach to contract guarantees, a family tradition that rarely makes exceptions. However, in 2025, the dilemma is clear. Pay for one of the few remaining defensive cornerstones, or move on from him. This is where the Minnesota Vikings enter the picture. The team finds itself at a crossroads. Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores have built a competitive roster, and the 2024 draft brought in future pieces, including edge rusher Dallas Turner. However, after one season, Turner has yet to validate his status as a first-round pick. Coming from Alabama, his speed and athletic tools were never in question, but consistency remains a concern. While veterans like Jonathan Greenard and Andrew Van Ginkel have held down the rotation, Turner has ended up overshadowed. In the current preseason, even an undrafted player, Gabriel Murphy, has been drawing attention. This creates additional pressure. Now imagine the Vikings front office. The defense has improved under Flores' leadership, but it still lacks that pass rusher capable of changing drives. Hendrickson, with proven elite production, fits that role perfectly. The tactical fit is clear. Flores thrives on blitzes, gap overloads, and diverse pressure packages. An edge rusher like Hendrickson, with 32 inches of arm length and consistent explosion off the line, would fit seamlessly as a tailor-made piece. Side by side with Greenard, supported by Van Ginkel in rotation, and Ivan Pace Jr. attacking from the interior, the result would be a feared 7-man front. The dilemma is on the table. Would Minnesota risk giving up on Turner, who is still developing, to bet on a player who is ready and productive right now? The comparison is direct: potential versus immediate impact. Hendrickson is elite today, while Turner may or may not become elite in 3 years. The championship window is short. J.J. McCarthy is arriving as the quarterback to lead an offense featuring Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and T.J. Hawkinson. The offense is armed. What is missing is a defense that can pressure elite quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, or Dak Prescott. This is exactly where Hendrickson makes a difference. But a trade is not just about player for player. To convince Cincinnati, a team still in need of future assets, Minnesota would likely have to include draft picks. A second or third round pick in 2026 could be part of the package, along with Turner. It is a high price, but one that could accelerate the team's competitiveness. After all, trades of this magnitude are not about tomorrow, they are about winning now. If Hendrickson actually comes to Minneapolis, the message will be clear. The Vikings are all in for 2025. No franchise trades away young talent and valuable picks unless it believes it can compete immediately. The risk is giving up on a developing player and important draft capital. The reward is turning a defense into a game-defining unit. This is the tension currently driving behind-the-scenes discussions and energizing the fan base. If the starting point is the Bengals' need to resolve the contractual situation, the logical progression is that Hendrickson could indeed be in his final offseason with Cincinnati. The player has attended team activities but has not participated in practices, maintaining his stance that he will not take the field without a contract renegotiation. The franchise, meanwhile, has faced similar dilemmas before. having prioritized Burrow and Chase in past decisions. Within this landscape, Minnesota emerges as a legitimate contender to capitalize on the pass rushers' dissatisfaction. The impact of Hendrickson goes beyond sacks. His ability to collapse pockets forces quarterbacks to rush their reads and make mistakes. In 2024, he led the Bengals in pressures and quarterback hits, statistics that do not show up in highlight reels but completely disrupt the offensive rhythm of opposing teams. This skill is rare, and precisely for that reason, Minnesota sees him as the missing piece needed to balance a team already strong on offense. Kevin O'Connell has built a reliable offensive foundation, but Brian Flores is still searching for a player who can elevate the defense to the next level. It is at this point that the trade makes perfect sense. Dallas Turner is the inevitable counterpoint in this equation. At 22 years old, he still possesses elite physical potential. The issue is that, so far, this potential has not translated into consistency. Turner has shown flashes of brilliance, but has also disappeared during long stretches of playing time, a contrast to Hendrickson's remarkable consistency. The Vikings understand that trading Turner means potentially giving up on a future talent, but they also recognize that their window to compete depends on immediate impact. McCarthy is a developing quarterback, but with Jefferson, Addison, and Hawkinson, the pressure to win now is real. To support this offense, the defense must create turnovers and shorten fields. Hendrickson is a specialist in doing exactly that. The negotiation, however, goes beyond simply trading one player for another. Minnesota would have to manage its salary cap, as Hendrickson will not play in 2025 under his current contract. Therefore, any trade would come with the need for a contract extension. This means committing to significant financial guarantees, something the Vikings would need to structure carefully to also keep Justin Jefferson and Christian Darrisaw under long-term planning. It is a delicate puzzle. Offering Turner plus a day 2 pick in 2026 would be just the first layer. The real cost would come from the payroll commitment. But there is also the competitive perspective. Imagine a divisional matchup against the Detroit Lions, a team that has built one of the most dominant offensive lines in the league. Hendrickson lining up against Penei Sewell would not just be a spectacle, it would be an elite matchup capable of deciding games. Against the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams, Hendrickson's quick pressure would be crucial to disrupting the rhythm of a young quarterback. Even against Green Bay, where Jordan Love has emerged as a central piece, this type of pass rusher can tip the balance in divisions often decided by small margins. Minnesota knows that without a defense capable of stopping high-level offenses, its offensive promise may not be enough. The fan base is naturally divided. Some advocate for patience with Turner, believing his second or third year could reveal the talent that made him a first-round pick. Others, however, see the risk of wasting valuable years of Jefferson and Hawkinson while waiting for that development. The debate is not just technical, but strategic. Immediate production or patience with potential? This is the question that defines trades like this one. Inside the locker room, Hendrickson's arrival would send a clear message. The Vikings are going all in now. Veteran players like Harrison Phillips and Greenard would see the move as a statement of ambition. For younger players like Ivan Pace Jr. and Murphy, it would be an opportunity to learn alongside one of the most consistent pass rushers of the past decade. This would elevate the team's competitive culture and accelerate the development of the entire defensive unit. And it is not just about Minnesota gaining an advantage. For Cincinnati, parting ways with Hendrickson would mean sporting pain, but financial relief. Receiving Turner and draft picks would allow the franchise to continue re-signing its core players without further straining the payroll. This trade, therefore, represents a rare opportunity to address the needs of both teams. The Vikings secure immediate production, while the Bengals preserve financial flexibility and invest in future potential. The scenario remains uncertain, but the mere possibility of Trey Hendrickson wearing purple and gold is already heating up the offseason and building excitement. If the front office moves forward with serious negotiations, we could be facing one of the most significant trades in the NFL for 2025. Fans know this. Moves like these define a team's trajectory. A franchise decides not just whether it will compete, but whether it will truly contend for a championship. And the message would be clear. If Hendrickson arrives in Minnesota, the defense would no longer be a question mark but a central weapon. The NFC North would no longer be just about explosive offenses, but about which team can withstand the pressure coming from the Vikings' defensive line. In this scenario, the choice between potential and production takes on a sense of urgency. And for a franchise that already feels its window opening, it might be time to go all in.